Well, I believe this has just taken me live. So, if that be the case, hey, be a blessing today and let the reign of God reign on you. Well, I just want to come to you this morning and say good morning to you. What a wonderful day it is, and may God bless you in this day. This week we witnessed the passing of two of our civil rights icons, and that is C.T. Vivian and Congressman John Lewis. I had the pleasure of knowing both of these icons. C.T. Vivian would always uh, strengthen you with a smile and with his voice. Just to be in his presence was always encouraging, inspiring. To hear these brothers speak and just to see them move and to know that it is on their shoulders that we all stand and that we find ourselves in better positions than we would be if it had not been for them. Congressman John Lewis has always talked in the same tone, same manner that we have always heard him. I even think even when he's angry, he always talk at the same tone. When he's happy, he talks at the same tone. I've had the pleasure of meeting him on many occasions when I served as a commissioner to the Housing Authority of Fulton County. Being afforded the opportunity to travel annually into Washington, um, talking about the housing crisis and what our people need in regards to housing. John Lewis was always uh, inviting. He always invited us into his office and would always sit down and talk to him. When there were problems, we could reach out to him and he would talk to us and call us back or even invite us there when we would come there to make sure that we talked about the issues. And he would do exactly what he said he would do. If he said that he'll look into it, he did. If he said he'll make a change about it, he would. So whatever he said, these two brothers are brothers that has been a joy to me, but more so a joy and a pleasure in life to get to know. I was listening to Andrew Young last night when he was on news and as he was talking about C.T. Vivian, and he was more or less saying that C.T. Vivian felt a great power. He felt a great joy, um, and I'm not saying exactly the way he said it. I'm saying it from how I felt in my spirit that he meant it. And what he simply said is that this whole Black Lives movement is is a powerful thing for these brothers to have witnessed. That I'm gonna use a word that it was refreshing. That it's like refreshed him, C.T. Vivian, to see uh, this worldwide movement about Black Lives Matter. Because see, that's what C.T. Vivian and Congressman John Lewis in the civil rights movement fought for, because they knew that Black Lives Matter. Yes, they were focusing on a movement that would affect millions, all lives, but they were fighting for the segregation and discrimination that was given to African Americans. They knew Black Lives Matter. So to witness and to see this wonderful, powerful move across the world had to be a refresh for C.T. Vivian, and I'm going to add Congressman John Lewis. The word refresh means to give new strength or energy to reinvigorate. Strength or energy to, new strength or energy to. I want to just shift spiritually for a moment. When God created man, he created a trichotomy because man is spirit, soul, and body. Now we said that way because soul comes in the middle of man and body. So when God says, "Let us make man out of our image," out of himself came man. Now the Bible tells us that God is a spirit, so then therefore man is a spirit. And then the second thing God did is He shaped out of the ground, out of the dirt, a form, a body, and then put man inside that body. Now, that dirt was humus, Humus. It's humus. And if you go into Lowe's or Home Depot or Walmart and ask someone, can they tell you where the humus is? They will tell you that if you go into the plant section, you will find all the dirt that you would want. So humus is dirt. If you take mus off, Humus, if you take the mus off, mus off of humus, drop it, and then take man and put man onto hue, you would have human. So man and dirt equals human, a man in dirt. But the reality is that when God allowed man, spirit, to touch, not get inside of, but to touch dirt, instantly the soul was created. Now, the soul is one's mind, will, and emotions. So there is the trichotomy of the soul: the mind, will, and the emotion. That is the being of man. That is actually who you are. That is your being. So when you take human and being together, it is a human being. So the trichotomy of man, which is spirit, soul, and body, is a human being. So here it is. When God created us, He created us to exist as a human being. Now, what's important about that is that the flesh is simply a vehicle or a suit to keep man's spirit and soul legal here on earth. Because when God said, "Let them have," God fixed a law in place where God could not come into this atmosphere, or He had no desire to come into this atmosphere in the spirit. So therefore, He put Himself, man, into a body so that we would be legal here on earth. Now, stay with me now, because that's a beautiful thing. God would still run things, but how would He run it? He would run it through us, because it is the man part of us that is capable and only capable of knowing God. So we would be able to know God, hear God, and be able to tell the soul, which is my mind, my will, and my emotion, to do what I'm hearing God tell me to do. And then the soul would tell the flesh that this is what we have to do. And the flesh would just simply be a vehicle to take the spirit and soul to where it needed to be in order to do what God told the spirit man to do. So the purpose of the flesh is designed to only keep the soul and the spirit legal. Meaning then that when the flesh no longer has a purpose, then it fades away. Now, let me throw something else at you before I finish that. When astronauts go out in space, they have to have a space suit. If not, they will be illegal and they won't exist. Here on earth, spirit and soul must have an earth suit in order to remain here. But when that earth suit begins to leak, when that earth suit begins to decay, when that earth suit begins to have no more purpose, a few things begin to happen. The earth suit becomes weak. And as the earth suit becomes weak, the body, the spirit, and the soul become stronger. Why? Because it's beginning to be released from the limitations that it has by being in a physical body. So as the physical body begins to weaken, the flesh and the spirit begins to strengthen itself. It begins to receive a new strength and a new energy. That's why when I visit uh, members or loved ones or friends that are making that final transition, I always speak to them in the spirit realm, and I always ask them or tell them, when you see Jesus, tell them that Warren said hello. Now, I do that because I recognize that the flesh is weakened or it is fading, almost faded away, and therefore their strength, their spirit, and their soul is strong. So, in the spirit realm, which is a realm in which we are able to communicate to our loved ones, they hear me, and because they hear me, they can and will deliver the message to Jesus for me that I said hello, and I expect one day that when I'm transitioning out here, Jesus say, "Hello, Warren." It's Jesus. And I received all those messages that you sent me, and I've always said hello back to you. And then the Lord will say, "Hello, Warren." And I look forward to being in his presence. Now, let's come back to these brothers here. So, to be refreshed is a new strength and a new energy. In making that transition, I believe that a couple of things begin to happen. Number one, that they saw that their entire fight for what they believed was their purpose on earth was picked back up now. And with the worldwide movement focusing on Black Lives Matter, that the systematic system of racism and discrimination that has plagued our world, that has been in existence and has been designed to keep us down, will finally, with this entire Black Lives Movement, be destroyed. Now, in order to destroy that, brothers and sisters, we can't give up. We must continue to fight, continue to stay in this race. I believe that everybody has an input, so you have to input at this time. So I believe that they saw that and they felt. I also believe that now that they felt that this worldwide movement is happening and that it refreshed him to catapult them into the place and the land that they knew would one day be their home, and that's in the presence of the Lord. I believe that they were willing to do that with this new strength and this new energy because they saw the change that was about to take place. They saw it happening right now with the brutality, police brutality, with all of the struggles that we've had with our children that the system created for us. Um, they saw it coming to an end, and as a result of that, they felt that they could move on. I believe the final thing they saw is that they were able to finally pass that baton, and they did in their passing on to be with the Lord. If you've ever seen a relay race, not that I know a whole lot about the relay race, but there are some simple components to it. You have two or three or more runners that's on a racetrack. And the first one has a kind of a stick in his hand. It's kind of a stick that he has, and the whole idea with the stick is that he have to run with it, and he runs, and the whole idea is to pass this stick, this baton, to the person in front of him. Now, the whole idea is that he's focused, he's trained, he's ready, and when the gunfire is shot, he takes off. And at a speed that he's been trained to run, he runs as fast as he can. And he has in his hand, never will drop it, the baton to pass off to the runner in front of him. And he knows that's the goal, to pass this off to the person that's in front of him. So he runs, and as he approaches the second runner, that second runner, if you will, begins to run. He doesn't run fast, but he begins to get in the move to run, and he begins to run, and he reaches his hand backwards, ready to receive the baton as it is passed on to him. And then he runs, and he begins to run, running to the next runner. The baton is always passed off to the runner in front of them. never to the runner behind them, because the runner behind them is now able to rest from the run. But yet the runner behind them is still in the race, because that runner is still encouraging and cheering on that great cloud of witness. They are cheering on the ones that they have passed the baton off to. I believe more than anything, C.T. Vivian and Congressman John Lewis were able to join the cloud of witness because they have passed their baton to a worldwide movement that rests upon their shoulders and the legacy in which they've lived for. Listen, I want to tell you all that Black Lives Matter. It still matters. And I believe that everybody on this planet has something to put and to give in this race. You have something. Don't just sit back and do nothing, but ask yourself the question, how am I engaged in this entire Black Lives Movement? Be engaged. May God bless you. May He keep you. And for C.T. Vivian's and for Congressman John Lewis' family, we're praying for you all as the entire world mourns because of how they touched our lives. We know that that does not compare to how you feel of the loss of your loved ones. So our prayers are with you all. Listen, may God bless you, may He keep you. I'm Pastor Warren L. Henry Sr. and down here in Atlanta, Georgia. Bless.